Well, let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to be focusing on Webflow and Lokalise today. Hence why you're here. My name is Eric Silberstein. I'm a sales engineer at Lokalise. I have the privilege of assisting new, potential, and current users in optimizing their use of our translation management solution. But before joining Lokalise, I was a localization project manager and also studied an advanced degree in localization project management. And today I'm joined by Allison. Allison, I'd like to invite you to present yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Wommack, a customer success manager at Webflow. I focus on guiding enterprise customers through their Webflow journey, including ensuring they have what they need to get their site prepped and ready for global audiences.
And what Allison and I were going to cover today together is first, how do Webflow and Lokalise work collaboratively as systems? And we're going to dive into a shared customer, which is Maven Clinic. What I'm most excited for, usually what people join, is then a live demo. So everybody cross your fingers. Hopefully the demo gods are happy with us today. We've rehearsed, we've got everything ready, but you just never know. It is live. We've got nothing to hide behind. And then we'll end with some Q&A. Having said that, Allison, take it away.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Eric.
Oh, but first the poll. Sorry, I forgot, Allison. So Brittany, would you bring up the poll for us? Yeah, just to get everyone excited. Ooh, what's Allison gonna share, to dangle them off the cliff. So are you currently localizing your website? Are you using Lokalise and Webflow today? What is your biggest pain point with website localization and translation? So we'll wait 10 more seconds should be enough. Just 3 easy questions. What is Webflow? We are about to get the best possible introduction from Allison. Thank you everyone for joining us and participating. I'm seeing the answers now. So a lot of our participants and the attendees are localizing their website in full force. Some others are just getting started. Got some Webflow and Lokalise users. Only one of them, though, of the however are overlapped, actually are using the integration. And very interesting for me, I'm very process oriented as a person. The result is always the quality of all of the inputs and their sum, right? So what's the result of your localization? Will it depend heavily on how well you do these things. All of them. Okay. Biggest pain points. And now officially, Allison, now please take it away. Get us started.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I'll start off by answering the question, what is Webflow? Webflow is a visual web design and development platform that lets people build production-ready websites without the need to write code while still giving you full access to all of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript level control. So now getting into our slides. Eric, I don't think I have control. Would you mind bumping me to the next slide?
There you go.
Perfect. So let's start with a scenario that many of our customers can relate to. You've built a stunning site on Webflow. Everything looks, feels, and performs exactly how your brand should. Then comes the next step, sharing that experience with the world. You need your content to feel local, so visitors in Tokyo, Paris, or Mexico City feel like your site was made just for them. That's where Webflow's localization product and Lokalise come in. With Webflow's localization, we've made it simple for any team to create and manage multilingual sites directly within Webflow. So within Webflow, you could add and manage multiple languages or regions in one workspace, along with machine translation. We offer customized SEO, routing, content per region, localized CMS collection, content, items, pages, and you can control the design and layout for each market. And for some customers, that's really all they need, a visual way to launch and manage localized experiences that look beautiful and perform seamlessly. But for some organizations that operate on a truly global scale, you can think of a team managing multiple digital properties, maybe some on Webflow, and others still transitioning from a legacy platform or additional content living in a product interface or an app. For them, it's not just about translating the website, it's about keeping every word of every experience consistent no matter where it appears. And that is where the Webflow and Localize integration adds real value. So by connecting their Webflow projects to Localize, these teams can centralize their translation workflows. They can send updated content from Webflow straight into Localize, where professional translators or Localize's AI assistant workflows can ensure the copy is accurate, on brand, and also just culturally nuanced. Then, with one click, those approved translations flow right back into Webflow, automatically updating localized pages while maintaining the same existing design fidelity that exists across your site. So Localize helps Webflow customers scale their translations, while Webflow ensures that every piece of regionally focused content from translations and beyond look and perform perfectly. Eric alluded to it earlier. One of our enterprise customers in the healthcare space, Maven Clinic, is a great example. They serve millions of families across the globe through virtual healthcare. Their marketing site lives entirely on Webflow, but they have a product UI and mobile app content that sits in other systems. So by connecting Webflow and Localize, they've unified how those translations are managed. So a change in phrase in one place can update everywhere else automatically. Additionally, in healthcare, it's extra important to ensure medical accuracy. So Maven Clinic combined localizes AI translations with also professional linguist review as a way to ensure that all remains intact. Now, getting to the results, the team achieved really, really fabulous outcomes here. 2x faster localization for their development team. They delivered the project a month early, 20% under budget. And within the first month alone, 1% of domestic and 3% of international members are engaged with the new language option. So the real impact of this integration is choice and control. Webflow Localize gives every customer the tools to design and manage multilingual sites right out of the box, beautifully and intuitively. And for teams that need more advanced or centralized translation workflows, Localize builds on that foundation and extends that same level of polish and precision and ultimately consistency across every digital property. So together, Localize and Webflow, we are empowering our customers to move quickly, stay consistent, and connect with audiences everywhere in the world.
Those are really impressive results from Maven Clinic, but I see them as somewhat abstract. So I did some napkin math, figured out how many women and families Maven Clinic serves through their digital health services. They currently have about 17 million active users. And if we had 1% of domestic users accessing their translated content and 3% of their international users, let's just say it's 4% of their user base. Well, that was when we originally published that case study. So it may have grown a lot since then. But let's translate the total number of users to something much more concrete. If you've been to London, well, 9,444 London route masters full of women and families that use Maven Clinic's translated content. And for upcoming World Cup, football, soccer fans, well, you could fill 8 of Real Madrid Stadium, the Bernabeu, with these Maven Clinic users that use the translated content. That is powerful. A lot of people getting important information to better their lives. Really impressive from Maven Clinic. So Allison shared Webflow is a powerful CMS that provides a lot of customization and capabilities to empower localization within your content, and Lokalise is a platform that can centralize tooling and processes to ensure that your translations in your user interface, in your product, in your marketing website, maybe your email campaigns and notifications are on brand, consistent, using correct terminology, and automated for publishing at scale. I want to pose a question to everyone here. What value are your users missing if you're not localizing currently? Or what are they missing if your localization quality isn't where you'd like it to be? Are you currently working at an organization like Maven Clinic, where it's healthcare services that can make someone's day, direct them to the correct resources, they can get the treatment they need? Even if it's not that high stakes, still, there's some benefit to the experience your users can gain. Think about it. What is it? If it is something big like Maven Clinic, maybe you've had an aha moment, do share in the chat. If not, it is just a rhetorical question. Now we get to my favorite part of the presentation, and that is the always unknown, the always fun, the demo. So first, we're going to jump into Webflow. Now, I'm not going to showcase Webflow's UI and capabilities. Allison is the pro at that. But let's say Allison asked me, whoever it is that owns the translation pipeline for her organization, to translate all of the recently added blog posts. So the example I'll use today is our AI in the global travel landscape. You'll see it has a title and a slug. There's a summary of the post, image alt text, and we get to the body and the meta description. Now, Webflow does offer some native translation capabilities, but it doesn't go so far as to unify brand voice, to use a glossary term, to enable human review workflows. That's where Lokalise comes in. So the Webflow, we design and create incredible source content. And then Allison says, Eric, get started. We need that translation. So I'm in Lokalise. The first step every translation journey begins with is getting the content into our solution. Uh-oh, there's the demo gods, like I mentioned, getting in the way. One second. Okay, everything should work as expected now. So if I think back, we're doing AI in the global travel landscape. I can quickly find that entry and import in bulk or with precision. So AI in the global travel landscape, I can import from Webflow. I can select all and import from Webflow. So let's just import AI in the global travel landscape. Now with just one click, we can import 1, 2, 30, 100 entries from Webflow into Lokalise to kick off our translation pipeline. Now, Lokalise is a platform for centralizing assets, processes. It doesn't obligatorily enforce them. Instead, it provides opportunities for doing so. So first, we're going to manage Webflow in one project, and then our product UI, like Maven Clinic, in another. And for each unique project, we can automate that translation pipeline. It's becoming increasingly popular to implement AI as part of our translation workflows. So what will happen, what a lot of our users do is, after they import from Webflow, they have what's called a workflow waiting. It's tracking all of the net new and updated translations. What does this mean for you? If you're translating, no more missing translations, no more content that slips through the cracks and doesn't get reviewed. Our system is always tracking everything that's new and updated and can assign it and send it through your translation pipeline of choice automatically. So I have a workflow that's running daily, and it's going to first get all my net new and updated content, use what we call translation memory, which is just previously saved translations, and then use AI wherever there is no translation memory match. And then we'll actually do a really cool review step. So we'll score the translations and then route only low quality scores to our human reviewers. But that's just what I'm doing. You can review all content. You can have multiple chained human review steps, especially if it's content that is going to be met with some compliance boards or it's in a heavily regulated industry, right? And I do see, Sarah, I see your question in the chat. We're going to keep it and make it our first for the Q&A. So our solution is listening for all of the net new content landing from Webflow, and then it will trigger that pipeline automatically. So the handoff now is no more exporting to Excel and to G Sheets. Instead, we hit import to Lokalise from Webflow, and the pipeline kicks off. So what's actually happening? Well, it'll generate a couple of jobs within our solution. With AI, it'll use your preferred glossary terms, but only after identifying the best engine for your specific content. So there's no just default. Instead, it evaluates in real time. For Allison's team, is Claude, is OpenAI, is Google MT the best for her content? She doesn't have to ask that question because we'll answer it for her. Then it'll push it through the flow with AI, assigning to human reviewers only after the AI translation is finalized and the scoring has been completed. Now it'll use those glossary terms. And if you have preferences about level of formality, case, gender neutrality, you can add that as part of your style guide or in a custom AI profile to reinforce your brand voice and style preferences. So very quickly, let's look at this in practice. Now, I do drive a car. I'm sure many people on this call do, but how many of us are F1 drivers? Probably none. And if you are an F1 driver on this call, well, I'm glad to have you here. We need ABS, traction control, all of those useful tools to make us safer, more efficient drivers. We provide that within our computer-assisted translation. So we give our users access to your glossary terms, but we also give them to AI so they adhere to your preferred translations. Now, today I actually prepared the demo and I created one that doesn't adhere to it. So I manually said, no, let's not do that. And I wanted to show you this because when we use AI to translate, we get an AI quality score. Here it's telling me the glossary term I've added is not being adhered to. That's why it's got a failing score of 75. So if I were to retranslate or rephrase this from scratch, here we have the glossary term for Spanish. We have Spanish speakers on the call. Don't tell me if it's the right or wrong term. I think it's correct, but I'm not a native speaker. But here we see Panorama Mundial de Viajes. And now instead of Panorama Global de los Viajes, we have Panorama Mundial de Viajes. So we've adhered to that term. We can make another change. So we're providing all of our users with the tools they need to, at scale, provide high quality, on brand translation across X number of target languages. This workflow can be rolled out for as many languages as you're supporting in Webflow, in your product UI. And all of these tools and lessons learned can be distributed across all of those different projects. So like Maven Clinic, you have a unified brand voice and unified translations. All right, so I've finished the task. Let's just say I did. Last thing I need to do to hand it back off to Allison, and we'll do our final visual check in Webflow, is to export the translation to her or back into Webflow. So I'm going to go quickly find imported AI. I think it's data security. Which one is it in the global travel landscape? And I'll export it to Webflow. Just the Spanish. That's right. That's what I've enabled today. We can do that with one click for all of the content as needed. Now we've gotten it back in a Webflow. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So Allison can show us what's left to do.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. In Webflow, when you create a locale, you're creating basically a version of your site where you can customize all of the content to be most relevant for original audience. So that goes beyond the translation and also includes customized content, styles, localized collection content, localized page settings, SEO, locale routing. So during Eric's demo, he wrapped up translation of our last blog post, and I'm getting ready to publish my Spanish version of the site. So I'm going to run through some priority areas for me as a marketer who wants to make sure the site is as relevant as possible for folks in the Spanish speaking market. So first, popping over to my Spanglish locale, I'm going to start updating the images to reflect what the app experience will look like with the localized translations and correct currency. So first image I see here, this image of the dashboard, quick and easy with the replace button. I'm going to grab the image of the translated app UI and it's looking great. Next, I see this plain image. It's absolutely okay to keep, but I want to make sure that Eric already translated the alt text so the content is accessible to folks in Spanish. So I'm going to go ahead and pop open the assets panel. take a peek for this image. Here we are. And it looks like Eric is good to go. The translation is in place. Now, I'm noticing that this subheader is quite a bit longer in Spanish than it is in English here. And it's extending a little bit too close to the plain image on the right, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the styling to pull that in a little bit. I think 77 should do it. And now I'm looking at the page, everything's looking good. I think I can move on to page settings to verify Eric localized the SEO. And it looks like he has. I'm seeing search preview results are translated. That means he's updated the title tag, he's updated the meta description. I'm going to scroll down and confirm the schema markup has been updated. Perfect. Schema markup 2. Amazing job, Eric. Now I want a localized open graph image because this experience is not great. So I'm going to go ahead and delete what we have in place now and add this new one that Eric got set up for me with the localized to Figma connector. Okay, that is much better. I'll save that. And then one last thing I'll want to do before I publish, we are adding a new product that's only available in the Spanish market. It's called Ground Pro. And with Webflow, we can have isolated CMS items that are specific to locales. So the CMS item from Ground Pro will exist within products here. I'm going to go ahead and add the new product. And I'm going to click continue because I don't want this product to show up on other locales or the primary locale, which is English, only the Spanish locale. And this product is not launching until next month, so I have some time, but I just want to get the item in place for Eric once he's ready to pop in and work on the localized translations. Saved as a draft, and now this is ready for Eric to go in and manage his translations. So I'm feeling like everything's good. I am just going to do one final check. I have my locales feature in place. I have my translations in place powered by Lokalise. I verified the SEO is all in a good spot. Now I'm just going to open up my settings and take one final look. Okay, awesome. Subdirectory for this locale is ES. We'll be automatically routing folks based on their browser preference. Only outstanding thing is I need to enable publishing to the subdirectory. I'm going to go ahead and save changes. And from there, it is publish time. I'm going to go ahead and hit publish, and we should be good to go. We're live for Spanish markets. Eric, I'm going to stop sharing and pass back to you.
Yeah, so what we just saw, Allison, I understood that you looked at the translations, but also just verified that the behavior of your site will be correct, what you expect for the users. So if I log in with an IP address in Spain, I'll be served the ES version of the blog post instead of the EN. So the user experience is seamless. It's as if the site was built in Spanish and not originally in English. So Webflow will handle that complex codified programmatic part and localize the linguistic pipeline, ensuring high quality translations. Very cool. Now, we finished the actual presentation. We have time for Q&A. So I did answer some directly in the chat, but what questions might you have for Allison and Webflow implementation, capabilities for localization? What might you have related to the localized part of what we've seen today? Do share. While you write your questions, we can address very common ones that we see in calls with potential users and current users. Allison, can I ask you about URL slug translation? How does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Webflow, you can define a unique URL slug for each page per locale. So for English, for example, your about page may be backslash about, and then the Spanish version could be backslash yes, backslash again, a circa day. So it's kind of referencing what we had in our demo. But yes, you can absolutely support unique URL slugs for all of your different locales per page.
So I heard the slug can be translated in a way that is complementary or better for SEO, I imagine, for a user searching Google or using AI to find information, writing the prompt, searching in Spanish, searching in French, whatever it might be. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Sarah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, is there another one, Allison?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw someone had asked when specifically to use Webflow versus localize for content adaptation. Eric, do you want to take that one or do you want me to take it?
I'd love to read the question. I can't find it. Sorry, is this real life example? Can you send it to the chat, Allison? New messages. That was me. Hello. When would you use one or the other? Well, I think for users that have low maturity, maybe they're just starting in localization. They don't know how much they need to invest, what the potential ROI is. It's a great way to start to engage your potential Spanish, French, whoever your translated speakers are. See if they actually will access your site. And as you get more traction, you do think about quality in that experience, you can begin to use more advanced translation technologies that provide higher levels of quality, automation, and scalability. So Webflow is really good at getting you started as you add locales and doing those, so we'll call it internationalization or setting your website up to be served and accessed by your international or domestic users that speak another language. When it's time to scale, you've done one language, now you want to do four. And brand voice, quality are of the utmost importance. You need to begin thinking about more advanced systems. So you can share glossaries across your product team. Maybe they're localizing content coming from the code base. And that brand voice, tone, and message needs to resonate the same in your website or your campaigns. Now, Webflow's capabilities, of course, are within only the scope of use in Webflow, and they don't translate to the GitHub, the code base, the product. So you have silos that could generate, well, different quality of translations and maybe even different preferred or official translations for your organization. So we need to centralize, pull multiple sources, provide high quality across your entire org. That's when you need to find a translation management solution like Localize.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. So really, localize is a great fit for you if you want more sophisticated translations, the ability to manage those translations in a separate system. So your translations are consistent across all web properties that may be on or off Webflow. Webflow does offer machine translation, but Localize really expands on that through offering
Mhm.
professional linguist review and AI supported machine.
Also, a difference in the translation process with the AI capabilities. Now, Webflow routes to just one, provides good enough quality. But Localize, we take that a step further. So we have a translation service when you send it to AI. First, it evaluates the quality of different engines, but then also provides that additional context for the translation process. So we'll find the best engine for your content, and then we'll provide it with your glossary terms, translation history, translation memory, the style guide. Maybe you provide guidance on levels of formality, which I don't think we can adhere to or enforce when using Webflow's built-in translation capability. So it takes that level, that initial level of translation capabilities to the next stage. So we're seeing with amongst our user base, 80% of AI translations on average, when actually sent to a human reviewer, are left untouched. So 80% already meet that human level quality grade. And only 20% are actually being edited and reviewed. But then we can also scale workflows and track progress. And that scalability is just not there visually within the Webflow translation module component.
Lucas, I hope that answered your question, but feel free to reach out if you would like to dive in even more.
With custom code embedding, it's a very technical question. Those are the questions I live on. That's why my AEs bring me into calls. Well, it really will depend. It's a complex question with multiple paths that we could answer. In summary, though, that inline code is brought into our solution. If it's recognized, if it's standard like ICU, HTML, our solution knows that and will add a placeholder. Point is, for translators, they don't have to translate that code. They'll see a nice visual block that they can just hit insert, remove, and move to a different part of the segment. Now, when we bring AI or machine translation into the conversation, things get a little bit more interesting. AI and machine translation are really good at translating common and standard inline code like ICU variables, HTML tags, HTML elements, reference tags. But if you're using anything that's highly customized, there is a risk that the pre-translation process gets it wrong. But that's where Lokalise can help. We will flag placeholder mismatches, URL mismatches, and other QA issues related to the inline code to make sure the human reviewers can address it. Now, images within rich texts, we can't translate flat images within Lokalise. So that's a quick answer. But if you extract that text and upload it, of course, we can translate it. Allison, is there anything you can add about images within rich text, especially as images and Webflow's use case?
Yeah, and within the Webflow's localized environment, you're essentially in an entirely separate copy of your site. So anything that exists in your primary locale will automatically flow into secondary, but you have the freedom to make any adjustments necessary that's inclusive within basically any aspect of the designer. So that includes adjusting images as we showed in the demo.
Thanks for the question, Christian. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I think the last information we can share with you is, well, where can you get started if you'd like to take our solutions for a test run? Don't just take it from me. With Lokalise, you can sign up for a trial, connect to Webflow, as long as you have the Webflow localization modules enabled, and test our solution for yourself. So go to localize.com. And really important detail, we have the best in class support team. So you run into a problem, even if you're just trialing, you can always reach out for help, check our documentation, or message our dedicated team working around the world to get your questions answered. Now, Allison, what can they do to learn more about Webflow?
Yeah, so I'd say you could visit the Webflow website. We have a really robust repository of information about Lokalise in particular, but similarly to Lokalise, our support team is fabulous. So if you're working as maybe a self-service customer, I recommend checking out our website. And if you're an enterprise customer, reach out to your account executives to figure out whether Webflow localization and the localize integration are a good fit for you.
Thank you very much for spending precious time with us today. Take care, everybody around the world. Have a wonderful holiday. Happy New Year. Goodbye, everyone.